Today we're waking up our zoysia for the first time. The only thing we've done so far is we've done our soil test and we did basically a scalp. It wasn't a full bare to the ground scalp, but I don't like doing that with zoysia. I like to take it down maybe to 3/4 of an inch to an inch, just enough to remove all of that dead top growth, and that way we can wake it up properly. But first, I wanted to give you an update on the negate application with carfentrazone that we applied, what was it, 2 weeks ago? I think it was 2 weeks ago. You can see here behind me, back there where it's really green is where I stopped. I did not apply it on that, but apparently I missed a strip right here behind me. You can see that pretty well. I also missed a large spot right here. I don't know how I missed it, but I did. But you can basically see how everything's growing. There is a lot of common Bermuda grass in the lawn, and that's outside of the zoysia grass lawn. We're going to keep the zoysia grass like it is. We're going to keep it Bermuda free, but the rest of the 2 acres that I'm going to maintain as my normal everyday lawn is going to be common Bermuda, again with the exception of my turf plots that are going in. I'm going to have at least 2 zoysia plots and a hybrid Bermuda. Those are going to be coming this coming week, and we'll document that. We've got a lot going on today, but you can see right here behind me we have the aerator. The first step in my process today is actually going to be real mowing the front yard to go ahead and cut that little bit of top growth off, make it look good. So it'll last another week. We're not in peak growing season. It's growing a little bit slow. It's not gotten thick yet, but it is coming in pretty and green. I want to keep that look level and get myself ready to apply a plant growth regulator when the time comes. But first, we're going to aerate probably the entire 2 acres, but I'm focusing on the zoysia grass first. Then we're going to apply a 10-20-20 fertilizer. Since I was severely low in P and K, that's going to help get my levels up. I'll probably make 2 or 3 applications of that this year early on. I want to go ahead and get that stuff in the soil, and then we'll switch to a more traditional 1-to-1 ratio of N to K and stay really low on our P. We're really low on magnesium, and I know in my last video we talked about putting down a calcitic lime, but I was really thinking that I was not going to find a dolomitic lime, and I did find one locally for $4 a bag. So I went ahead and picked up a bunch of that. That is going out today as well. So we're looking at core aeration, we're looking at fertilization, and a liming application today. And if I have time, I might add a little extra to it. We'll have to wait and see. So let's get this hooked up and get going. As you can see, I'm just nipping the top off a little bit. This is my second real cut of the year. My first cut after the scalp. We'll include the scalp as the first real cut. The lawn does look brown, but I am removing a little bit of that top growth off. It's going to come back anyway. It's fine. It actually looks a little bit greener in person than it does on camera, but you can see where I have stopped. Have cut from here back to this line here. Anyway, we're going to finish up this front yard and we're going to get on with our aeration. You hang on. Whew. I'm out of shape. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about this lime and fertilizer we're getting ready to put down. So why are we liming? Well, liming is simple because it raises pH. And the reason you want your pH raised is because certain nutrients, or all nutrients, are available to the plant at different pH levels. There is a sweet spot somewhere around 6 to 6.5. That's where I like to keep mine, or where I want to get it, because in that little window, that little range, is the best chance to have access to all of your nutrients. Now, how does lime work and how much do I need, right? So what it does is the calcium carbonate in that lime pushes out the hydrogen ions in the soil, therefore raising your pH, taking more acidity, so to speak, out of the soil. That's why we want to do it. In this particular case that I have today is dolomitic lime. Dolomitic lime is it is still a lime, but it has a higher concentration of magnesium in it, which fits my soil test analysis really well because I was severely deficient in magnesium, so that makes sense. Now, if you're not deficient in magnesium, just a regular calcitic lime would do the trick. And if I'm not mistaken, dolomitic lime may have somewhere around 12 or 13% magnesium in it. And keep in mind, magnesium is one of those nutrients that promotes photosynthesis, right? So it also helps with getting a darker, greener color in your lawn. So the next thing is the fertilizer we're putting out. Now, I used a local brand, locally made fertilizer. I got a 50-pound bag of 10, 20, 20. Now, the 10 is important because Zoysia doesn't like a lot of nitrogen, right? I've got 8,000 square feet of Zoysia here, and 5 pounds of actual nitrogen in the bag, so that puts me at just a little bit more than 1/2 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. The 20/20 on that bag, that middle number, is your phosphorus. You have to have phosphorus, but too much phosphorus can be bad. Potassium, same thing. You need potassium. I'm severely deficient in both, so I made sure I got a number. The NPK analysis on the bag, 10, 20, 20, matches each of my needs. Now, there are no micronutrients in this bag of fertilizer. Now, since Carbon Earth went out of business, I may stick with my local brand of fertilizer, which I can drive about 20 minutes to the manufacturing warehouse and buy it. I think that particular bag was 15 bucks, and that included my tax and everything. So not bad, not bad at all. This is going to be what, 0.6 pound or so of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet, and the lime is going to go out at about one 40-pound bag per 1,000 square feet, and that should eventually get my soil in the range it needs to be. This time of year, when you're applying lime, I'm a little bit late applying lime, but it's never a bad time to do it. Lime is ground from limestone, and the coarseness of that grind is what is pertinent. The finer you can get that grind, the faster it can break down and work its way into the soil profile. The quicker it gets into the soil profile, the quicker your pH will come up. Typically, with a cheap bag of lime, it's a coarsely ground lime, so it can take 6 months, a year, maybe even 2 years before it actually gets down to the root zone where it shows any effects. That's the difference between a regular lime, like from a big box store, or one of those enhanced limes that has a adjuvant in it to help with soil penetration, and it's also very finely ground. And That's my buddy, I think. But very finely ground, and it gets it down into the soil much faster. But you will pay a premium for those bags, somewhere around $12 to $15 a bag, I'm guessing, where I paid $4 a bag for regular lime. Let's get this put out on the lawn because we're expecting rain. We're going to repeat the same process with the 8 bags of lime. Hang on. All right, I figured out what the other item was I was going to put out today. It's been in the garage. It's the Let's Go Carbon Pro G. That is their granular form of a biochar, compost, and humic acid. It also has some beneficial bacteria and mycorrhiza fungi. This is an excellent carbon source to put down on your lawn. Had I known that Yard Mastery was going to come out with their 500 biostimulant by the Andersons, I think that was a formulation that was made specifically for Yard Mastery, and it has all the goodies in it. As a matter of fact, I may try to get some of that. Had I known that they were coming out with it, because they just came out with it, I would have gotten some. And but I had already bought the Let's Go Carbon Pro G. Let's Go also has a Carbon Pro L, which is the liquid form, basically the same type thing in a liquid form. So we're going to go ahead and get this out today, and we'll come back and close this out. Okay, well, we're finally done applying everything that we had on the schedule for today. Fertilizer. It was a 10-20-20, and we did a 10-20-20 because that's basically what our soil test said we needed. More P and more K. That's phosphorus and potassium. That's the second set of numbers and the third set of numbers on a fertilizer bag. We also need a micronutrient addition. That's going to come probably next week. We'll see. We also put down lime. We put down a dolomitic lime. And why did we do dolomitic? Dolomitic is it's a calcitic lime, but it has a higher concentration of magnesium in it. We were also deficient in magnesium. Now this lime is going to raise our pH. Now it is a very slow process. It can take 6 months. It can take a year, 2 years or more before that gets worked down into the soil profile. So be patient, and every year we're going to test and see what our pH is, and we're just going to keep amending until we get it right. You know, lime is pretty cheap, you know, $4 a bag for a 40-pound bag, and that's what I needed right now per 1,000 square feet to raise my pH almost a point. Now we're going to say that's almost a point. Then the last thing we put down today was the Let's Go Carbon Pro G. What is it? Well, it's a soil conditioner, a soil amendment. It has a little fraction of humic acid in it. It has compost. It has mycorrhizae fungi. It has beneficial bacteria, and it has something else in it. It was a carbon source, I think. I don't remember what it was right offhand. That's good for your soil. The other thing we did today was we aerated prior to applying all of these things, because not only does it help that material get down into the soil quicker, but it also opens up the ground so that air, water, nutrients can get down in there. It breaks up that thatch, if there is any, to help with the process. Now when you're done with your spraying or spreading for the day, I highly recommend that you do wash your equipment, and this is why. Let me get down here for you. Can you see how that lime has caked on to everything? I mean, it's down to every nut, bolt, anything that is metal, this lime will eat away at. You won't really notice it until the next time you go to use it, and your entire spreader, anything that was metal, will be covered in rust. it is very harmful to that metal. Wash it off. Don't be afraid to get water and soap and a brush and scrub it off. It will make your equipment last a lot longer. Same thing goes with your mowers, your sprayers. Wash them off, rinse them out. Make sure you're washing the inside out of your sprayer so that you don't cross-contaminate anything that you apply to something you don't want to apply to. That's all I had for today. Stay tuned for next time when we talk a little bit about a new product from me. It is a line of products that not too many people are using. The next product brand is has a bigger name in the community, but I'm going to go ahead and try out the Simple Lawn Solutions products, the same ones that Ryan Knorr uses and endorses, very much like the next products. So we're going to see what kind of success we have at the new place with these products, and we'll talk more about them next week. Have a great week, everybody.